Hello, and welcome to the podcast Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable. This time, we thought, Kim and I, it would be a good idea, or an idea anyway, to turn the tables a little bit. And she, having been an interviewer on two radio stations for over 17 years, she thought it would be rather good to interview me and find out a little bit about my story, perhaps in separate chapters, because it's a long story, and just have a good chat, because there's nothing like two women chatting over a coffee table or a podcast, just to learn and laugh. And yeah, so here we are. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, really good.
Awesome. So for all your listeners, we did the first episode where you interviewed me and we chatted about me. And I said to Susie afterward, like, this is your podcast and talking about your course and your books. And so I think the listeners should know about you. And so that's where the idea kind of came out. And so everybody, this is Susie Mackie, the voice and the beautiful face behind this amazing podcast. But we want people to also know like where Susie came from and what she brings to the table because of the course that she offers people as well. I shouldn't say people, women of our age. And for everybody out there, I'm 65. So Susie and I are both in our 60s, which is wonderful.
Yes. Well, I think we tend to say women of a certain age. So it's
Of a
really
certain age, yeah.
50
Yeah.
plus or midlife and beyond.
Yes, exactly. So, I had a couple questions. So first of all, I think I just want to ask you, Susie, what is your mission for the podcast? Like, what do you feel that the podcast is going to bring to the world? Because the course is going to be geared to your students that take the course. So, what's your vision going forward with the podcast?
With the podcast, I think it's about reach. I think it's about and free. Letting women, I mean, anybody who wants to can listen to it. They can be a 20-year-old man who wants to learn what his mother's going through, for instance, for more understanding. But it is aimed at women of a certain age, and who particularly have been through or are going through challenges, adversity, even trauma, and just feel like if they're not on the floor, they're halfway to the floor in some respects. It's also aimed at women who've actually risen, because there's that saying, isn't there? Either you need the meeting or the meeting needs you. And my
Mm-hmm.
aim is to build a wonderful community of women supporting women, because together we are stronger. And those are two of my hashtags. And I love people. I love chatting with people. I also love talking. So it's that sort of element. I particularly wanted to do it with a video,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't as easy for everybody, as well as audio, because I've been a photographer for a long time. I'm a visual. Visual things move me. They can change me. So I think sometimes it's really important for the audience to be able to look into our eyes
Mm-hmm.
and see the expressions on our faces and see the person behind the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that creates more of a connection. And so I really
Absolutely.
want SGU, as we call it, Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable, to connect people, to create a community and be of support,
Mm-hmm.
and, give some light bulb moments, and be a part of my Mastering Mental Toughness journey and course that I offer. So it's to bring a sort of a fairly holistic offering to people, to women.
Absolutely. And I think that was the thing, like you and I, in case anybody didn't see the first episode when you interviewed me, but you and I basically met online. You're in the UK, I'm in Ontario, Canada. And forming a bond from that far away can only be done through things like this, right?
Yeah.
Through a podcast or like you said, coffee chats or whatever. But what would we in any other way would never have met, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so meeting people where they're at, no matter what country, and also figuratively, like no matter where they're at with their life.
Mm.
And so women, we talked about this in the first one, but women, I feel of a certain age, like you and I, like we've done our family, we've done our thing, we've done our, our chosen careers or whatever, and then now it's time to reinvent us. And I think, like you said, with all our traumas and things that happened in our childhood or just our immediate past, we just want to build women up, like just get them to the point where they make choices.
Absolutely, we want to build women up, and I feel that there's still such a long way to go
Mm-hmm.
with in the business world, in the corporate world, in a company, the NHS, every element where there's a lot of people busy working, and
Mm-hmm.
it's especially if it's male dominated, there's still an awful long way to go for women to feel valued, seen, heard, and also recognize the fact that we do have issues such as, most of our listeners will have had their children, but they may have grandchildren, and there may be a hospital emergency or something. And they are the ones called upon rather than the male in the family. They may have the effects of the menopause, which are quite serious in some respects, and still companies need more understanding. Having said that, Kim, I suppose my target audience, well, it is working women, but also female entrepreneurs. Many women have decided to leave the corporate world because they're burnt out. They can't stand it
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And actually, like your story of lipstick to legacy, you decided that helping a woman choose a color lipstick, you were great, but you had more in you than that. And so I know quite a number of women who've left a job or a corporate career to do what's really their heart-centered passion. And I love the fact that actually we met through a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's no end to the podcasts that one can listen to nowadays. And I don't think that's a bad thing because we all can choose. We have our favorite programs and we can choose. And I also think real life is sometimes more fascinating than fiction. Well, what's that saying? Truth
Absolutely.
is stranger than fiction. Yeah. Mm.
Absolutely. And the connection aspect. Like I've been, oh my gosh, I've followed personal development people and podcasts. Like that's just what I do. I don't really watch TV.
Mm.
And I still honestly think that the podcast industry, if you want to call it that, is like a lot of male dominated. There's not as many women doing what you're doing, like speaking woman to woman. There may be women speaking to business owners or, but woman to woman, it's a really good thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's going to be the thing for
Yeah,
you.
I loved your phrase, coffee chat, actually.
Hmm.
Because we also we started this off. We were so far from perfect. We had 3 goes before we got one that we could actually put out there. And I can remember putting something out, and I apologized on Facebook that it was this, that, and it wasn't perfect. And somebody said, Susie, please don't apologize for it not being perfect, because other people, who's perfect? And it was more important that the content was getting out there.
Hmm.
And I think I used to be on the perfectionist path to poverty, as one business mentor said to me.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I like to put my makeup on and show up, and your hair and
Yep.
everything,
Yep.
lipstick, lovely. But we just do the best we can with what we have. And I
Yep.
think that, I mean, I probably wouldn't record a podcast if I was feeling as miserable as sin. Fortunately, I don't often feel like that, because I love my life now. I love who I
Hmm.
am. I have inner peace, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. I look forward to sitting at my desk doing what I'm doing, with the course and the podcast, and it's very exciting.
Well, I think, and there are so many different gurus out there that just say, like, do it dirty, do it the way it is. And
Sorry.
I think people really respect that, right? Like, because if you're speaking to women, they know that you have dishes piled in the kitchen. They know all those things. And if you're trying to pretend like your life is perfect, which I think is a challenge with social media, right? Because everybody sees all these posts and people are their
Yeah.
life just looks all wonderful, but that's
Mm.
not reality. Like, that's
It
not
isn't. Mm,
reality.
it isn't.
So just doing it, and and Greg and I try to fiddle with the lights because he's really good with lighting, but just do it. Just show up anyway, and show
Yeah.
up the way you are, and
Oh,
show up
yes.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's a bit like sometimes the swan effect, isn't it? Paddling crazily underneath. But I think there are so many women who are spinning so many plates, and they
Oh
are
yeah.
so brave and courageous with what they're doing, with what they're
Hmm.
going through. And my heart goes out to them, and my hat comes off to them, because my goodness me, actually, when stories started coming in from my books, the two
Yes.
volumes of Women of Spirit, they're on my website. Um, I was interviewed on BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and I can remember saying that, because my story's in the first book, and I remember saying that when stories started coming in, I think, oh my God, I haven't been through anything in
Yes.
comparison to these women. And then I thought, you know what? I did. My pain was my pain, and it bloody hurt at the time. We can't compare. We cannot
No.
compare what we go through. We can't
No.
judge what others are going through. And we can't say, oh, well, she's all right because that was only so and so, because she might be a super sensitive person,
Hmm.
and may not be sort of coping, or actually, a super tough person.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, we're all a mixture. Going back to my sort of mastering
We do
mental toughness course,
definitely. Yeah.
we are all a mixture. About 68% of us are a mixture of mental sensitivity and mental toughness. And that's one thing. Toughness is quite a masculine word.
Hmm.
And some people even call it mental strength. But actually, to build that is, oh my God, it's super important if you really want resilience. And mental toughness is resilience plus positivity. Now, I'm really lucky. While I had a fairly shit childhood, I was a born optimist. You can learn optimism. And
Hmm.
so that's one of the things that is in the course. But the opposite of mental toughness is not mental weakness.
No.
It's mental sensitivity. And being mentally tough doesn't mean you morph into this thick-skinned hard nut who doesn't give any, it's just like, you stay you, but you just grow into your inner power. You build your confidence from the very get-go, self-worth, which a lot of
Hmm.
women struggle with, let alone self-love. All of these things are in the course for us to develop. And it's doable. It's very
Hmm.
doable. And I know firsthand how completely life changing it is, because less than a year ago, oh no, just over a year ago, I left a narcissistic personality disorder man that I went up to be with for 2 months. The day I stepped over that front door, he changed into somebody very dangerous, so dangerous that the very next day I knew I had to go. But I'd invested quite a lot. And this is another story. But there was a trial, and I was the witness. The police prosecuted him, asked me to be a witness. That was another traumatic. Uh,
Hmm.
However, because of my mental toughness, he couldn't bring me down, because apparently they target strong women
Yes.
for various reasons. But anyway, so I know how transformational building your resilience and positivity is. And you don't allow people to treat you badly, nor do you attract people
Hmm.
energetically. Now, Kim,
And we
you
talked
know
about that.
you
we
know all
talked about
about.
that attraction thing, right? With our
Yeah,
words
so
and
tell us a
yeah.
little bit about that. Mm.
Well, just basically changing your words. Like if you're focused on, if your words are carrying the vibration of what you don't want, then you will keep attracting similar situations, similar people. And it could even be spilling your coffee. I mean, it's just similar things on that vibration. So I think that's going to be a wonderful thing for the group,
Mm.
the Facebook group, because you're going to have people share and women will be sharing their stories, right?
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
And
Very
so,
much so.
yes.
Yeah, and engaging and supporting, because we're not Pollyanna and we don't have rose-tinted spectacles. I think possibly I did in my younger days when I
Hmm.
was looking for love to complete me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Should have gone with myself. I know that now, and so I can approach most things. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I get upset and bloody blah.
And we all do.
We
Yeah.
all do. And actually I'm Pisces. I can cry an ocean,
Yeah.
but it's the bouncing back, or as I like to say, bouncing forward far more quickly. And then I can look back on all the stuff that happened to me, and I can still smile now
Hmm. Hmm.
because I know now it's brought me to where I am. It's everything I went through now has meaning because it's now my purpose, my passion, my life's why to help other women develop their mental toughness, love themselves, etc., etc. And who wouldn't love being in a position to do that?
Well, so I think what really resonated with me a lot was the sequence of things for you. So you put your books out first, and those were books like of how many women, like so many women's stories.
60,
And
about
from that,
60.
yeah, so from that bird's eye view, you now had the ability to create the course that you would want them to have perfect. And
Yeah,
so, like from that bird's eye view, you've been able to have those stories,
yeah,
knowing what those women would have needed in those times, right?
yeah.
And so now you can address such a broad range of women's challenges and the things they need to overcome, but also provide a space of safety because you know what those women went through. So I find it's like fascinating to me that you did those books with so many women.
Mm. It started when I was doing my photography degree, actually, as a project there. And I came away after 4 years doing my degree with a first class honours degree because I'd found something that I loved doing, which was taking
Mhm.
pictures of people and being around people. College was a sanctuary because there was a horrible time going on with my husband at the time. And getting that degree gave me massive confidence that actually I could do something and do it well. Um,
Exactly.
Still had to find the confidence to go out and begin photographing weddings, but then the responses for those. And so again, I got out amongst people, lovely people on hugely happy occasions. And
Mhm.
the things people said, and oh, it was absolutely joyous. I did it for about 12 years and then I went into doing boudoir. But I'd quite like to rewind a little bit
Yeah.
and, perhaps sort of begin at the beginning of how my life started and
Ex-
and what happened
yeah.
early on and all the things that make up who I am now. And that's what I'm interested in with other women too, because all of these things come into who we are and we can choose a path. We can choose a path which serves us and serves others, or we can remain in our familiar or comfort zone, which
Mhm.
actually isn't a positive or happy one, but because it's familiar, we stay there. And,
Mhm.
and that's very sad. So I think if we know that people go through all kinds of stuff, but then they do something with it, what really moves me is when you see on something like Pride of Britain. Oh my God, I'm tears of poor youngsters, little ones who say
Mhm.
recover from, or even haven't yet recovered from leukemia at 7 years old, and they're going out doing things to raise money to bring
Hmm.
toys to the other kids in the hospital.
For
You know,
servicing others. Yeah.
attitude. Oh, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, actually, I did. My primary school, no, my kindergarten report when I was 6 said I was a happy, confident little girl, and I could be a helper or a leader. We found
Nice.
that when I was helping my parents clear out their farm of 63 years in 2017. And it was a lovely thing. And I thought, gosh, who was that? Because what the hell happened to her not long after that until I was about 58?
Yep.
And so kindergarten was actually lovely. Primary school was okay. But it was a private school. And in those days, it was all about obedience.
Hmm.
Tell you, and it was like that at home as well. It was,
Which kind of stifles your personality and like your
oh,
growth and your purpose,
because
right?
there's a psychometric test called Enneagrams, Enneagrams, and in that there's about 7 different types, and I am the enthusiast. But growing up, one healer said to me, the word suppression is coming to me so strongly. I was so suppressed. And of course,
Hmm.
that completely saps any form of confidence or authenticity. Um, and I can remember, I mean, my parents were independently lovely people. Well, my mother was very difficult. She was very critical, very controlling. Oh, and she was so horrible to my father, they both used to come to me and confide in me. I was piggy in the middle. I wasn't equipped to deal with that from my
No,
own parents. God, the things they used to say.
no.
My first memory is of being called stupid by a very angry mother when I was 2. I can't remember much of my childhood for the years after that. I remember riding ponies and things because I think I've blocked it, but
I
I,
was just going to say you would have, like, there would have been a mechanism of blocking that out.
yeah, I mean, God, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't physically abused, but
No.
I was living in a really toxic environment uh,
Hmm.
bec- because I was born on my only sibling, my sister's 2nd birthday. And in those days, I guess people, you'll remember this, is when you were giving birth, you'd go to a hospital or a cottage hospital and you'd be there for probably about a week. And then you would be taken, or go home. And when I went home and I was the only blonde, my parents were dark haired and so was my elder sister. And I was literally born on her 2nd birthday. Not a good idea. Well, it could have gone
No,
either way, couldn't it?
no.
I could have been the most wonderful present in the world. Sadly, that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. Partly because I think I stole her mother. I took her away when her
Hmm.
2nd birthday was on, and for days after that. And she's only 2. Then I'm
Yep.
taken
Yep.
home and I'm being breastfed in my parents' bed, whilst my grandmother, my mother's mother, who was not an affectionate woman at all, never told mummy she loved her. She
Hmm.
would drag the sister out of the bedroom with me being breastfed, screaming. I mean, and my business mentor some years ago said to me that this toddler, suffered what's called a mind fracture. I'd never heard of it before. And
Hmm.
it's desperately sad in a way because, as my mother said, they didn't have parental guidebooks telling you,
No.
you need to have the other one tucked under your other arm whilst you're talking about this little, naughty monkey and da 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 da. Um,
Right. Right.
and so that was terrible. So that mind fracture, and because she didn't choose to seek healing for the pain and the unhappiness and the loathing of me as I grew up. Oh my God. I mean, it got very, very toxic and poisonous, and it's still ongoing now, and we're in
But
our late.
remember in the first episode, we talked about your purpose and why you came into this life. And so all of those things were
Mm.
lessons presented to you,
Yes.
right,
Mm.
to grow from and to become who you are now so that you can use your gifts to go and help others.
And thank you for calling them gifts, because these things, I don't do an organized religion, but I do the universe, because I know that everything is energy, and whoever your faith, your sort of
Yep.
is,
Yep.
then we are, the scientific fact is we are all energy and we're all connected. And so, as you were talking about vibrations, and so I think if I could have been given a gift to be born with, it would have been to be a singer. Oh, I'd have been a singer. However,
There's
this
still
is
time for that.
out, and I am using my voice in a different way. I'm
Mhm.
using it to really support and help others, and I'm so happy doing this. I really am. So thank you
Yeah.
for calling it a gift. I suppose
Yeah.
you can choose. Will you do? This is choice
Mhm.
I made. You know,
Mhm.
I chose to do this new podcast because I had one before, and I felt this would be much more appropriate. And
Mhm.
I think the name "Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable" is really pertinent for not just the women who are doing my program, my Mastering Mental Toughness, but women out there, hopefully globally. I would love
Mhm. Mhm.
to have listeners in the English-speaking countries, and for them to enjoy and engage with what we're doing, and our Facebook group, because we have a
Mhm.
Facebook group of this as well, and we can put the link for that in the
Yeah, put the link for that. So if you can tell people, so the course, so how do they get a hold of you?
yeah,
The best way to get a hold of you, to reach out about the course for the details or whatever,
yeah.
and the details for the Facebook group. I mean, that's out there
Yeah.
now, right? We've been inviting people.
Yeah, so we can really build a strong community. Not everybody in the community will be feeling strong, but that's what we're all there for. Um, I do love quotes, and I remember finding one a while ago. A rising tide raises all ships. And I
Hmm.
feel
Exactly.
so true. And,
Yeah.
if we can be there and lift others up. I say with my course, I actually call it a program, with what I do, I'm here to believe in you until you are able to believe in yourself. Because
Perfect. Hmm.
self-belief is really tough as well.
Hmm.
And, I don't have all the answers, but at the age of 67, I have quite a few with what I've been through, and come out the other side. And with a passion for doing what I do, I have a fair few. And I think I have enough to really help people achieve the transformation that they want to do. And actually, the first part of my program, it's a 5-week fast track. And then there's the option to do another 5-week deeper dive.
Hmm.
So, anyway, Kim, bless your heart for being
Yes.
with me on this journey, and for turning the tables and asking me some very pertinent questions.
Well, it only made sense. I think people want now more than ever, I think since COVID or whatever, but people want authenticity. And
Mm,
so like if you don't dip into people's lives and where they came from and be able to identify with that person, I don't think you can have a really good, you can go anywhere and sign up for a course and coaching courses with people that are faceless. There's faceless marketing now of
mm,
courses, and I would never want that. Like I would never feel drawn to that because
mm.
especially when it's so personal.
Mm. Yes, yes, absolutely personal. I was watching something on YouTube yesterday, and my partner suggested I could do another job online and just listen to it. But I said, no, I want to watch these people. I need to see them and
Mhm.
totally immerse myself in them. I did
Mhm.
then start doing the ironing, but then I had it in front of me and I could watch them whilst I was doing the ironing, because that's doable. But
Yes. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm going to enjoy this future. I mean, like whatever this journey ends up being between you and I'm, I'm doing some consulting. I've been doing that forever, but in a whole different capacity than what you're doing. So if we can kind of help each other, that's the
Oh,
way to
it's
go.
such a compliment to each other and what we're doing. It really
Yeah.
is. And we're going to learn more about you in the fullness of time and more about my story. And I'll put a link to the books on my, they are on
Yes.
Amazon. If you wanted a paperback or softback, they're very nice quality, I have to say, as well as the stories, 60 stories. They're also as PDFs on my website. I'm going to probably around December time order a box or two so that if somebody wants to have one of the
Mm,
books with a
mhm,
personalized message to give to somebody who's really going through it,
mhm.
because this isn't happy for everybody either. That, I want to do that so that I can do that for people too. But anyway, that's a few months away. And in the meantime, thank you, Kim, very, very
Thank you
much.
so much, Susie, for the opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's wonderful.
On, and I'll stop the recording now. But thank you, everybody, for listening. And I am going to be speaking quite openly about my story because I don't think I finished off when I was 2 years old, did I? What happened? Why my mother was angry? I can't leave you not knowing that. Um, I'd woken up, got out of my bed, tripped along the landing to my parents' bedroom, and it was dark and they weren't in bed and there was no one there. I stood at the top of the stairs screaming for my mother because I thought they weren't there. I just thought they'd gone.
Yeah.
And she came to the bottom of the stairs. I didn't come up the stairs. She said, "You stupid girl, go back to bed." Da da da, and that was it. And I was told it was just like I wanted my mummy, and I was only two. How was I to know they were in the lounge watching television? And I just felt that was a bit tough.
Well, there's a lot of things that can anchor into a 2-year-old's mind. Your
Yeah,
subconscious mind would have
yeah,
felt abandoned, would have felt, whatever, who knows
yeah,
that too.
yeah,
But
yeah.
subconsciously, they say from even before birth until approximately the age of 8, that a child's mind is like a computer, and it's just being programmed by every single
Yes,
thing, like
yes,
every
yes.
situation, everything they see, everything they hear
Yeah.
becomes a computer program. And
Mm.
then throughout your life, after that certain age, then everything that you do or that happens to you either adds to the program or
Mhm.
helps you delete the program.
You're just self-talk, all of these
So
things, positivity. In the program, one of the slides I have is a picture I think it's the only photo that's not mine, of the brain neurons connecting, because we're born with about 89 billion neurons in our brain.
yeah,
Now, these
absolutely.
can either build and grow and connect, or they can break up and melt away. Guess which is
Yeah,
the better one? And so we
yeah,
talk about brain health. There's so much that we want to share. So thank you
yeah.
for watching or listening, and we will be back again soon. Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.